The high school experience is filled with discovery. Perhaps no other period in a person's life is as filled with a combination of complex ideas, competing interests, future preparation, and identity questions. It's not always common for a graduate to have an acute understanding of him or herself, much less when one starts high school as a wide-eyed freshman. In this episode of Senior Spotlight, we travel to New Technology High School, where the senior you're about to meet had a keen understanding of his own academic and personal areas that need improvement from early on. And with the help of his school, he eliminated them and opened up a world of possibility.
All right, and then here we have our inverse functions, which you can use to set goals for profit. You can see what your expenses will be, or set sales goals as well.
At New Technology High School, this is the norm.
Pre-calc today, we were given the costs and expenses of a local scooters franchise, and then we basically predicted profit and kind of recommended how much they should buy. We used functions to do that, so functions, composite functions, inverse functions. We looked at the domain and range of it and kind of just gave an informed suggestion on what he should spend and why.
To demonstrate mastery of the material, there aren't tests. There are projects.
New Tech High School is the fourth high school in Sioux Falls. Students can choose to come here in 8th grade. They sign up, they apply, we pull a random lottery, and then when they come here, it's a smaller school. We only have about 100 students per grade level. And the difference with New Tech is that we do all project-based learning. So all of the students' learning comes attached to some sort of a big goal or task at the end. So for example, the one that I always use with the public is for Spanish class. Instead of giving like a test about foods for that chapter, the students create a restaurant, and then we go up to the cafeteria, they set up their restaurant booth, and then they have to serve people who come in, community members, other students. I've had Sana come in, the Bros owners have come in, and they sort of judge the restaurant, and they have to do the whole experience in Spanish. So they're practicing their real world skills. Freshman English is combined with speech, global issues, there's some desktop publishing. Sophomore English is combined with biology. So as they read a book, they're Wolf Project, and then they do ecosystems. And then at the junior level, it's Amex American Experience, so it's film history and English 11 and US history, and it's a whole, all combined experience for the students.
So literally, a student can go from partnering with a local business one period.
If our goal is to prepare for human exploration, probably, right?
Yeah.
So you probably want a real big rocket, I would say.
Yeah.
To building an interplanetary space mission the next.
So the class you were just in was astronomy and meteorology, which is basically 2 classes that are a quarter long put together for a semester, so we can just get both credits and not have to enlist in 2 classes. I guess right now we're working on a project where we design a mission to Mars and we decide what our goal is. So our group personally, we decided that we want our goal to be preparing for human exploration. So I guess getting ready, getting all the information we need, and kind of finding out what we need to do to get people walking around on Mars. Our first budget was about $250 million, which sounds like a lot of money, but it turns out that doesn't go very far when you're trying to get to a different planet. So we basically just started with a rocket that was really big and wanted to kind of put stuff on top of it and see what it could carry, but it quickly got way too expensive to do that. So we kind of went bare bones, found out what we really wanted, and then we kind of built around that and found what size rocket we needed, not necessarily the biggest one we could get, and then kind of budgeted around that. He also kind of threw a little twist in there where sometimes NASA will release technologies like the ballpoint pen that made them a lot of money to kind of raise funds for their missions, and we had a wild chance and we made some money to add to our budget, so that helped us out.
If this is not how you remember high school, you're not alone.
New Tech is definitely a unique experience. I don't think, from friends I've talked to at the other high schools, it doesn't happen there either. And I think that it's uniquely given me the ability to be able to present information that I've researched and kind of have the ability to eloquently express yourself, which is very important coming out of high school and going to college or starting your career. There's always good days and bad days, I'd say, just with any school. I would definitely say that coming to New Tech and doing projects and kind of talking with my friends definitely is more fun than going to school and kind of doing the traditional stuff, but there's always downfalls. Like projects can definitely be stressful. There's a lot more variables, a lot more can go wrong. So when you're getting near the end of a project, it definitely gets to be a little strenuous.
Strenuous because every project you get graded on depends also on the other people you work with.
I would say the students that do the best at New Tech are the ones that are willing to take a chance, the ones that are willing to believe us that failure isn't a bad thing, that it's something that you can learn from, that we grow from that. That's what learning is. Because all of our students work in groups their entire high school career. So the ones that understand that they're gaining those skills to work with people in the workforce.
It has its rewards and challenges.
I've met a lot more people than I think I would have at Roosevelt. I also think that with my graduating class, because I've worked with all of them in some manner, there's definitely more of a relationship there. Cons, working with people is always hard. So kind of getting along with everybody, not hurting anybody's feelings, because at the end of the day, like, it's not really a personal thing when you're in a group like this. Like, if somebody's not pulling their weight, you gotta kind of hold them accountable, but it's hard to do that without it feeling personal, because you're with these people for 4 years every day, and we're such a small class that sometimes the wrong impression gets given off.
As you might be guessing, Logan has mastered this challenge.
I've actually been lucky enough to have Logan every year, I think, because my schedule has changed with some different pieces of the school growing. So I got to have him for Spanish, and then last year I taught environmental science, and then this year I have him for the online course, which is more self-paced, but I'm a reference guide. Every class I've had him in, he's always a super hard worker. He gets his group rallied around him, ready to go. We'll have students that'll come in that are the sort of high achievers and try and do all the work for their group. Logan's really, really good at, he gets his work done and then he teaches his group, helps his group how to do it, so that he's a good planner like that, I suppose, because he probably looks at it as investing in his group members, that if I take this time to teach them how to do it, it's gonna make it easier for me in the long run.
The long run is something Logan has had in mind for a while. It's part of the reason he enrolled in the district's Academy of Finance program. He was featured in a video recently about his summer internship at Weiser Distributing in T.
It's going great. Looks like we found the right kid. Logan's been amazing. We kind of needed some help. There's only 2 of us in the accounting department here, so we kind of needed some help doing the AP and the AR, just kind of taking a little bit off my plate, because I'm taking a little bit of my boss's responsibilities on, so it's been a major help. He handles our credit card reconciliations now, so any charges that we don't recognize, he'll investigate them, figure out if they're fraudulent or if they shouldn't be on our statement. So now he's kind of going up, and we all have our own credit cards here, at least about 7 of us do. So he just goes around, finds out whose card it is, kind of figures out if it's a real charge or not. That's just one part of what he does. He's actually entering like all of our accounts payable now. So he's taking our inventory that we receive in and basically matches it to the invoice, creates it as a bill, and then sets it up for payment. So that's a pretty fast-paced process, because we have so much coming in and so much going out. And our credit history is I think it's pretty good, because we haven't had any, we're not really late on our payments ever. Logan does a really good job of keeping up on that. Basically, it's all about our online sales. We do have outside sales with our trucks, and they do a great job, but that's just kind of a small portion. Most of our sales are through Amazon and other marketplaces, but we started in auto body supplies and auto body tools, but we've kind of switched to buying anything that's extremely popular on Amazon or other marketplaces we'll get into and start selling it. And we got a lot of we have, I think, 4 private labels now that we we import from other countries and then sell it as our own.
It's a large, quickly growing company, and as an intern, Logan turned heads.
Right now, I'm working at Weiser Distributing. I started there as an intern thanks to the Academy of Finance. I was kind of put in contact with them, and they chose me to come on, and then through working with them, I guess I left a good impression and they hired me on after my internship was over. So I've been working with them for 6-7 months now. All my previous jobs were food service, like the normal high school jobs, and it was a lot of just kind of walking around and doing your thing, and you know what to do and you meet some good people. But my accounting job, it lets me kind of critically think and use my head and actually apply knowledge that I'm learning, because up until then, all the knowledge I've learned in school, I mean, I don't use calculus in my serving job as a waiter, so it was definitely interesting to use all the content that I've learned in school and apply it to an actual job and make real business connections.
So, high school classes like this online economics class, an accounting job at an international company that is a major supplier to Amazon, Walmart, eBay, and other marketplaces, and
I'm dual enrolling at Southeast Technical Institute. I'm only taking 2 courses first semester. I'm taking English 101 or composition and fundamentals of speech or speech 101. So those are fun. It's definitely interesting to kind of see how colleges operate as opposed to New Tech, and I want to say it's a lot easier because I really just have to, for English, write a paper, and for speech, write a speech and give a presentation, which I've been doing for the last 4 years. So I think New Tech has definitely prepared me for college, most definitely. I'm having a lot easier time in my college classes than I was in some of my high school classes.
naturally, all of this leads to next year.
The current plan is to go to the University of South Dakota for my undergrad, probably in finance would be my major. Not sure on my minor yet. And then after that, I want to get an MBA. I just don't know where or how that'll happen, if I'll be working and getting it at the same time or just going straight into a graduate program. I chose the business path pretty early on in high school just because I found the whole concept of running a business very interesting. My goal would be to eventually work for myself and own my own business or operate my own business, but it was definitely a self-guided path.
For all his success, Logan is humble and grateful.
Our ambassador program, it's student choice. It can be freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, students who want to help us spread the word about New Tech. We have, 50, 60 site visits a year. So we have a whole bunch of people coming in. We have students from USD, we have teachers from USD, we have school districts from around the whole Midwest that come and visit the school. And Logan has been part of the ambassador program for, I think, all 4 years. So he gives school tours when we go to 8th grade to middle schools to recruit students, to let them know that, hey, New Tech's an option for you, here's what you can expect. Logan goes there and he's always one of our best speakers.
In the ambassador program, I started my freshman year and they brought me to middle school recruiting my freshman year, which looking back was pretty ridiculous, bringing a freshman to middle schoolers and talking to hundreds of them, because at the time my biggest presentation was to a class of 50, and then going to talk in the brand new auditorium at Memorial, being the first people to ever speak in there and speaking to the entire 8th grade class I was taken aback, definitely, for my freshman year, but I've done it every year since. I do spring and fall recruiting. I'll go talk to individuals if they come to New Tech. I'll answer any of their questions. We've had education programs come from USF, USD, SDSU. Everybody kind of comes here to see what's going on. Also, we have school districts that come here. So the Sioux Falls School District obviously sends people pretty regularly to come see what's going on. But I've also given tours to superintendents from several different states that come and want to take a look for their school districts and see if they want to open up a New Tech. I believe in the program because it's helped me so much. Coming here, I could never have done even an interview like this with just one other person in the room, let alone give presentations every day. So the fact that it's helped me so much has definitely encouraged me to not necessarily spread the message, but definitely share my experience and let other people draw their conclusions. It's also opened up a lot of opportunities. Like recently, just last year, I gave a tour to Senator Rounds, who came and took a look at our facility, and next week I'll be giving a tour to Governor Dugard. So it's definitely allowed me to interact with people that I never would have before, and definitely brought in my horizons and meet a lot of people.
New Technology High School might not be for everyone, and it's natural to wonder.
I've definitely had some second thoughts. It's hard not to. Going into the Academy of Finance, I didn't really know how much I was missing until I started talking to some of my classmates. I definitely missed out on maybe participating in DECA or participating in FBA or stuff like that, but I think that had I gone to Roosevelt and had I stuck to how I was at the time, I would never have participated anyway. So in terms of the costs outweighing the benefits, I think Coming here was the choice for me, definitely.
It's part of his incredible self-awareness that has already made him so successful.
I would just like to thank the teachers here that have definitely helped me develop as a person and get me ready for college, because it's definitely, your transition from freshman year to being ready to go up to college is a big one, and the people who undertake that task and take it seriously definitely deserve a little gratitude.
Right, they're in groups their entire career, and there's some students that we have to figure out who they can work with, how we can help grow them, how we can help build them, and Logan's one of the students that when we're making groups for the next project or for the next quarter, however long it is, I'm guessing all teachers would agree with me that he's one of those kids that it doesn't matter what group you put him in, he will pull his group up, they will make an awesome project together, and everyone in his group will learn the content.